good morning to you out there. This is African President Television, where we report Africa from a refreshing perspective. My name is Leo Ketan. These are the stories we're tracking for you at this moment. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has been unbundled into 7 independent units under different chief executives. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Kachukwu, who announced the unbundling of the National Oil Company in Abuja, also announced the President's immediate approval of the appointment of the chief executive officers of the 7 new companies, namely Bello Rabiu for upstream, Henry Ikem Oni for downstream, Anibo Kraga for refineries, Saud Mohammed gas and power, while Babatunde Adeniro goes in for ventures. Kachukwu said 5 of the 7 operational units will be strictly business focused, in line with global best practices of national oil companies. The Group Executive Director in charge of Finance and Services will be Isiaka Abdulrazak, while the Executive Head Corporate Services will be Issa Inoa. All appointments took effect immediately. The federal government of Nigeria has announced an immediate employment for Mr. Aaron Ochole, the first son of the late Minister of State for Labour and Employment, James Ochole. President Muhammadu Buhari, who was represented by the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, announced this during a brief condolence visit to the Ocholes at their Kado home. Malami also said government will be responsible for the order of Ochole's children who are still in school. He described Ochole's death as a grave loss to the entire country and regretted that the late minister would no longer be available to see to the actualization of the political project and vision which he helped to develop. Malami went ahead to convey the condolences of the president. The number of dead persons in the Lekki 5-story building collapse has risen to 15, authorities say. The building, which was under construction, collapsed at the Chisco bus stop in Lekki Phase 1 area of Lagos State in southwestern Nigeria. Spokesman for the National Emergency Management Agency named Southwest Zone, Ibrahim Farinloye, had earlier said that 4 people had died and 6 others rescued. Mr. Farinloye said that the persons affected may be workers at a construction site. Taking part in the rescue operation are Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Lagos State Building Control Agency, police and personnel of the civil defense. About 3 excavators are also being used by NEMA in the rescue efforts. The immediate past theater commander of Operation Zaman Lafia Dole, Major General Yushua Mahmoud Abubakar, has died in a hastily motor accident along the Maiduguri Highway. The accident also involved the General Officer commanding 3rd Division of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Muhammad Aliyu, and his driver, who survived the auto crash with serious injuries. The GOC and his driver, as well as the deceased, were taken to the Damatru Specialist Hospital in Yobe State, accompanied by heavy military security, before they were taken back to Maiduguri for proper medical attention. The cause of the accident has not yet been established, and meanwhile, the Deputy Governor of Yobe State, Abubakar Aliyu, in company of the Secretary to the State Government, Baba Wali, the State Police Commissioner, Zana Ibrahim, the Head of Service of Yobe State, Dauda Yahaya, and other sympathizers have visited the Damatru Specialist Hospital. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Tuesday evening rearrested the former Head of Service of the Federation, Steve Oronsaye, for alleged corruption and obtaining money by false pretense, otherwise known as 419. The rearrest came about 8 months after a federal court in Abuja ordered him released from detention after he was docked for alleged 6.2 billion naira fraud. Reliable sources at the EFCC said the retired bureaucrat was picked up from his Abuja residence at about 4:30 p.m. concerning a different case. Mr. Oronsaye, who is already being prosecuted by the EFCC on 24-count charge of money laundering before a federal high court, Abuja, is alleged to have abused his position as chairman of the Presidential Committee on Financial Action Task Force and obtained a sum of 240 million naira from the Central Bank of Nigeria in the guise of assistance to the committee without the knowledge of other committee members, and proceeded to convert the same sum to his personal use. The former Nigerian Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Diezani, AlisonMadueke, who is currently undergoing extensive cancer treatment in London, has strongly refuted claims that she gave $24 billion oil swap deals without contract. In a release issued to journalists in Abuja, Mrs. AlisonMadueke rejected some newspaper and online reports which sensationally claimed that she granted an extension instead of approval for the renewal of contracts for the swap agreements. She described the latest attack on her person as fabricated tissues of lies deviously concocted to sustain the escalating evil narratives against her person. South African President Jacob Zuma on Tuesday hailed Nigeria's role in helping the South African country during its trying times. Speaking during a joint session of the National Assembly, President Zuma said Nigeria's role in ending apartheid in South Africa must be told endlessly to future generations of their people. He continued, Nigeria provided solidarity to South Africans to unseat colonialists, and we can't forget Nigeria's role in reparation for South Africa. The South African president, who is on a 2-day state visit to Nigeria, also applauded Nigeria's conduct of the 2015 presidential election, saying he salutes the courage of all those who were involved in making the election a smooth one for the country. President Zuma also said that South Africa was willing to work with Nigeria in bringing about a steady power supply, and also appealed to Nigeria to join hands with other African countries in defeating the enemy of the continent. Benin's presidential election looks set to be a second-round runoff between Prime Minister Lionel Zinsou and businessman Patrice Talon, the country's electoral commission indicated on Tuesday. Zinsou won 28.4% of votes in Sunday's first round, with Talon on 24.8% of ballots, and business leader Sebastian Ajavon third with 23.03% in the second field of 33 candidates. Electoral Commission President Emmanuel Thiando announced the polling in the early hours of Tuesday. Confirmed results from the first round will come from the Constitutional Court. President Thomas Boni Yayi is bowing out after serving a maximum 2 5-year terms, marking him out among some African leaders who have tried to change constitutions to ensure third terms. A second round ballot appears likely within a fortnight of official confirmation of the first round results, because no candidates managed a majority. Boni Yayi's mandate expires on April the 6th. Donald Trump has won 3 more states, Michigan, Mississippi, and Hawaii, in his bid to be the Republican White House nomination. In the Democratic race, Bernie Sanders has had a surprise victory in Michigan, but Hillary Clinton increased her overall lead with a big Mississippi win. Ted Cruz won a Republican-only race in Idaho. The states are the latest to choose candidates to compete in November's presidential election. It was a terrible night for Republican Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who came in a distant fourth in both Michigan and Mississippi, a week before his must-win contest in his home state. And in sports, Real Madrid's Cristiano Ronaldo was the scourge of AS Roma again, as he inspired the host to a 2-win victory that booked them a place in the Champions League quarterfinals on Tuesday, scoring and setting up a goal for James Rodriguez to seal a 4-0 aggregate victory. The Portuguese forward, top scorer in the competition this season with 13 goals, netted for the 6th time in 3 games in all competition by finishing off substitute Lucas Vazquez's cross at the near post after 64 minutes. 4 minutes later, Ronaldo released Rodriguez with a delicate pass, and the Colombia forward prodded the ball between the legs of the AS Roma keeper, Szczesny. And these are the stories we're tracking for you coming from African Free Press Television. For more, please do log on to our website at www.africanfreepress.com. Follow us on Twitter at African Free Press. Like our Facebook page at africanfreepress.com. Do join us in our discussions on various interesting topics at African Free Press Forum, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at African Free Press. My name is Leo Ogeta. Have a good day.